Okay, so today I'm going to start on the main engine block. Before I do that though, I wanted to get the sump rubbed down and ready for priming, because I want to get the rocker cover painted. Ideally I want to get this painted, so I'm just going to give this a sand, 80, 120, finish on 180 grit, and then I'll give this a prime. I've knocked out some of the dents in the bottom using the panel beating kit, but you know, it's the sump, it's going to get banged about a bit. I'm not too worried. Plus, once it's got some primer and paint on here, you'll never notice. Right, so that's been sanded up now, very roughly. It doesn't have to be perfect, it is just a sump after all. I've degreased it with brake cleaner, inside and out. I'm going to paint the inside with black spray paint, and we're going to put a etch primer on the outside. Let's get that ready. Now I'm using some old wire that I've got left over from when I made my chicken coop and dog kennel area, and it's a really good gauge wire. Obviously if you haven't got this, you can just use some old coat hangers. And I've just set up a wire across here, and I've got somewhere to spray up against. That should be alright. So that should do for now. I'll wait about 20 minutes for it to go off, and then we'll turn it around and do the other side. But already it looks much better. So right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm keeping the cylinder head on this board because I want to keep it nice and clean. We're going to move the block over to the work section here, and then we're going to start dismantling the main engine block and laying everything out as neat as possible on this side. Then we can figure out whether we need new bearings. We'll take a look at the pistons and the piston shafts and just see if there's any scratches. We'll check out the O-rings and figure out a plan of action from there. It's going to be heavy. Right, okay, so fully set up. Organisation is the key with this. I've got my ice cream tubs over here, and I've got some egg cartons which I use just to hold sort of nuts and bolts in, keep everything organised. The advantage of using the ice cream tubs is you have to eat the ice cream first, which is it's a win-win. So I'm just going to get my socket set out, and then we can start turning over these nuts. So on here we've got these, I've forgotten what they're called now, but they're part of the washers and they're bent over to stop them undoing. So what we'll do is we'll tap these out, and then we'll start taking this apart. Right, okay, so that's all of those folded back over, so I can start undoing them. I am going to consult the Bible and figure out, just make sure there's not a sequence that it has to be undone in. If there's a sequence in which it has to be put back together, I tend to do that in reverse. Whether it's needed or not is debatable, but I like to do it. So I'm just going to have a look and figure that out. Okay, so first things first, crankshaft and main bearing removal. Basically it's saying to release the lock, release the locking tabs from the 6 bolts. So we've done all of these. So first I'm going to have to take off the timing gears off the front here. So take off the timing gears with the timing chain. damaged it there where I've prized the the screwdriver has actually snapped the casting, which is surprising because I didn't put that much pressure on it, but I was planning on putting new timing gear on there. I might put a duplex chain on there, but my decision has been made for me now. Right, so I'm going to take out the gudgeon. Okay, so I'm just going to take these two nuts off, and then that should hold this end plate in place. Okay, so now we're ready to start taking all of these off. Let's figure out what size it is. These are 9/16. So I used the breaker bar there to loosen them off. They're torqued down quite hard, so you want to work smart, not hard. Once you've got them loose, you can just use a normal socket to take these off. Keep all these parts together. Okay, so this is the section with the thrust washers as well. So we've got our bearings. The bearings are in there. They actually look in really good condition. And then we've got thrust washers on either side of this. So we'll give this all a look over and figure out whether we're standard or plus 20 or plus something else. Get you in a little bit closer to see this last one. Alright, so now we're going to loosen off the cranks for the arms. Crank arms, whatever they're called. Right, okay, well there you have it. So we managed to get all of that out okay. Wasn't too many problems. Little bit of messing around with the timing chain, and we've broken the large sprocket on that, but we were going to change the timing chain kit anyway. We've managed to get everything out now. I think even though these bearings are okay, I think because they're only like £13, it's probably worth putting a new set of bearings in, even though I don't think we need them. The pistons, I was really hoping that the pistons were okay, and some of them, as you can see, they're discoloured, which you're gonna get, so they're gonna need cleaning up. But I hope the pistons themselves are okay, because even the O-ring and the seal kit for them is like 130 quid, I think. So that's a lot of money just for the O-ring. So I'm gonna have to have a look. Hopefully we can get away with using the same one. So I'm gonna do a bit of research on that and just make sure that is okay. So we've got the engine block here again. So the bores that the pistons are in fantastic shape. There's no marking on them whatsoever. From what I can tell, sort of first off, from what I can gather, first off, I think this is all standard, so I don't think it's been bored out at any point. I don't think it's had a skim. So yeah, really pleased with that. That's exactly what I was hoping for. So I've just cleaned out some of the big crud out of my temporary cleaner, my homemade DIY cleaner. I've got the proper one here, but it's a small one for the parts. So I've just used an old sieve, much to the wife's annoyance, to just sieve out the bits of crap which are in here. And then I'm going to put the block in there, start giving that a bit of a soak, giving it a good clean off, so we can start cleaning the parts up and hopefully get this back together as soon as possible. My main aim, I want to try and get the engine sort of done really, so it's off the tick list. I can just focus on the main job, which is all the bodywork. We've got loads of bodywork to do. So if I could get this engine done now, soon, then I can package it all up, it's out of the way, it's done. So right, let's get the block in the wash. Right, so we don't want to sit idle, do we? So while the engine block's sitting in the cleaner, the parts cleaner, the degreaser there, I'm going to paint the outside of this in our British racing green, not BMC green, as I originally thought. So this has been given some etch primer on the outside. It's not perfect, you know, I didn't sand this right back to you know, perfectly flat. It is what it is, but the primer really sorts out any undulations. We've painted the inside with black. I might lacquer that, but for now that's good. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to mask off the inside here because I don't want the green going on the inside. Okay, so there you go. Just enough to block off those holes while we're painting it. And I really need to make sure I put it on light. On the filter, I put it on a bit too heavy and I got a couple of little runs. Nothing drastic, but it's better if you don't have them.